friendships.
This seems like another case that was thought to be racism, and we'll see another example of this in my next case when I call Paul Robeson.
When I was 17 years old, I earned a scholarship to Rutgers University, and I was the third African American to attend. In 1923, I earned my degree from Columbia University's law school. For a brief amount of time, I worked as a lawyer, but left after I experienced severe racism. I believe it is important to speak out against racism and to promote Pan-Africanism and for everyone to have pride in their heritage. In the late 1920s, my family and I relocated to Europe, where I established my acting and singing career. I was one of the first African American actors to participate in productions that displayed dignity for African American actors. I was accused of being a communist for speaking out against racial injustice. This of course is not true and was an attack on the democratic rights of those who are working for equality. I was even barred from being able to renew my passport by the State Department just because of my skin color. After my passport was reinstated, my wife and I moved back to the United States. When we arrived, the issue of racism was still a major problem that must be put to a stop.
In one of my last examples of the complications in the 1920s, I would like to call to the court's attention artist Georgia O'Keeffe.
The art I created in the 1920s was a good representation of material symbols of modern technology. In this era, New York City was changing at an exponential rate. The small-scale landscape was changing into skyscrapers and more industrial buildings. And my most famous paintings from when I was in New York City depicted the skyscrapers, which showed the industrialism in America. When people looked up at my paintings, they had an air of wonder and mystery for the aspects of the city that were new to us all. The changes in the city showed the age of rural living conditions coming to an end and urban areas growing in popularity. As the skyscrapers grew and the city flourished, more people migrated to urban areas in search of jobs and to be closer to their current job. The invention of the car helped transportation become one of the biggest factors in this change. People were able to leave their small towns and come to cities, and I was able to do the exact opposite. Some of my finest and most well-known work was composed in New Mexico. I'm most famous for my paintings of flowers, which I based off of the landscapes I saw there. New means of transportation, like the car, allowed me to leave my city home in New Mexico and explore the deserts and valleys out there, and my finest work was created. Transportation allowed for the switch from rural to urban areas, changing the lives and creating new possibilities for people around the world.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. As we just saw, the era of the 1920s was a time of significant change and growth, as well as a time of discrimination and turmoil. I, Clarence Darrow, strongly stand up for all the controversial cases that we heard about today. Thank you for your time, and I hope what we learned about today opened your eyes to the changes and trends of the 1920s.